Tennessee, it's the George Plaster Show, featuring Tennessee Sports Hall of Famers Kelly Holcomb and young gun Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in on what is an absolutely incredible Monday in Nashville, Tennessee. The temperature, I'm guessing here, we'll take a guess that it's upper 70s. 78 degrees at the moment. That's supposed to be the high. 83 tomorrow. Perfect weather. Hope you're enjoying it. Get out maybe around 5 o'clock and get into it. Let's start in Murfreesboro. Let's say hello to Kelly Holcomb, who joins us. Kelly, when last we checked in with you, you were in therapy for the song Country Roads. And how is that going?
It's okay. I had a session this morning and I'm beating it, but it's still crossing my mind. So good gracious. They had a fight with Troy the other day, and when I saw West Virginia, what popped in my mind but Country Roads and George Plaster. And I don't really like thinking about George, other than these 2 hours that we have on the show together. I'll be honest with everybody out there. I mean, it is what it is, man. I'm just being honest, George.
Can he hear that?
Yes, we can all hear it.
He was able to hear it.
Yes.
Good.
I did. What did y'all play Country Roads? I didn't. I figured that's what you were playing because I heard you laughing or saw you laughing. What a clown.
Did you do anything constructive? Is the world any better for anything you did this weekend?
Not
really.
I don't think so, George. Yeah. All I know is my daughter, that has been gone almost a year, is in Montreal. She's on North American soil. She's been in Belgium. She's coming home tonight. She'll be here at 9 o'clock. I'm stoked about that.
Are you going to the airport to pick her up?
I am, yes. She was supposed to be here at 5:30, or was it 5:30 today? I think it was 5:30 today, or maybe 3:30. I don't know. And then my wife said, "Are you going with me to get Jalen and Will?" And I said, "Well, I've got my podcast." And she said, "Well, you missed your podcast for the NFL alumni tournament the other day." And I said, "Honey, I'm not missing it." I said, "That's my NFL alumni golf tournament." I said, "I'm going to see her when you bring her home. So yeah. I'm not going." Mm-hmm. Okay. But I am going now.
Yeah.
She missed the flight.
So here's a little bit of advice. Mucho trafico.
Not hopefully around 8 o'clock tonight. I wouldn't think it'd be that bad. I wouldn't think it'd be that bad, but I don't know. Who knows, George?
So, couple of stats. The soccer game, United States, 3 days ago, drew an 18.8 million.
Wow.
Which is 3/4 of what most of the NBA playoff games drew. Most of the NBA playoff, the finals, the Knicks and the Spurs were in the 20 to 24 million category. And the soccer on Fox drew a little more than 18 million. Wow.
What do you say to that, George? Because you were asking the other day, and we all said that it's growing at the lower levels, but when guys get in high school and all that, it kind of drops off. What are your thoughts?
I don't really know what to make of it, Kelly, because it's obvious that there is growing interest, but it seems like, okay, about the time they get to college, that they're betting on football instead of soccer.
That is correct. We've got a epidemic of bettors now. There's no doubt.
Yes. Parker, what did you do to make the world better this week?
Well, I spent some time with my family. I watched a lot of sports. I played a little sand volleyball yesterday. It was a good weekend. Got out in the sun a little bit.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. So can't complain. I hung out at the pool. I did not golf like Kelly did. So, yeah, there's that.
Well, the thing about it is you can't golf like Kelly can.
Oh.
So fair enough.
It's just what it is.
I'm not even trying to argue that.
sand volleyball. I don't know if I would have told people that, but you go ahead.
Why? What's there to be ashamed of, Kelly?
I
It's a
don't
fun
know.
recreational activity, especially when
guess
you're in a
so.
competitive league.
Okay. Is that right,
Do you
Parker?
have any substance?
Oh
in an
my
update?
gosh, tons of
Because
substance.
Friday, that load of crap you fed on us.
You cut
Friday
into a
was-
little bit of my time, George. I was actually going to start with
Yeah.
the New York Knicks.
Okay.
George,
Congratulations.
what was it about Friday? What was
Yeah.
it about Friday, George?
just a pile of mush.
It was
Not
light.
much.
It was light.
It
We got
was
to
lame.
Billy a little bit early.
It was lame, and I let him know it was lame.
He did, and he let me know during the break too. So
Nice.
let's start with the New York Knicks. First time in 53 years they get it done in 5, 4-1 over the San Antonio Spurs, led by the greatest Knick of all time, Jalen Brunson.
So, Victor Wembanyama, I'm disappointed in him. I don't care. I don't want to hear all these talking head excuses. When it's over, you shake the opponent's hand. It's that simple.
That's kind of being that's a sore loser.
Unless they've really cheap shotted you.
That is correct, George. But I will say this: Wembanyama is going to be a really good player. He already is a really good player. But he's got to gain some weight, man, because the Robinson and Karl Anthony Towns, they're much heavier than he is. And by the end of the last game, he was spent, dude. He had nothing left, and it's because he's not thick enough.
Yeah. So, one piece of strategy I didn't get for the Knicks, Robinson, he can't hit the broadside of a free throw barn at the very end of the game. Why isn't San Antonio fouling him? What
a Shaq?
was
I don't
that?
know.
There's no type of arc on that shot. Just straight, shooting it straight.
And
that might be worse than Shaq's.
When it goes in, it's like it's about to tear down the goal. But anyway,
the crowd erupts too when he makes a free throw.
George, did Tyron call in Thursday or Friday because didn't he tell us that the Spurs?
He did.
He said the Spurs are going to win this thing.
We will make a specific ask for him. How about that?
Isn't that the second time, Kelly? Because he gave us a hard time saying the Patriots were going to win the Super Bowl.
That is correct.
Well,
I've come to the conclusion now that we need to make Tyrone tell us who he thinks is going to win and bet the house opposite.
I've had some people say that about me.
Yes.
The parade will be Thursday. I want to throw one thing out there. Okay. When your team wins a title, that does not give you license to act like a fool.
Oh, people are like, what is all that about? I do not understand that. What are we doing? Somebody owns all that stuff. Like, act like you've been there.
Human beings.
Yes, seriously. I don't know, man. But I will say this about the New York Knicks, George. We've talked about the NBA. And we've talked about how guys give up. But I think you look at that team, man, and I think they're led by Jalen Brunson, and I think that dude fights.
Oh.
The smallest dude on the court, you can't guard him. He makes shots. That's what San Antonio was missing. Down the stretch, you ain't got a guy to make shots. Jalen Brunson is the finisher for the New York Knicks, and just watching his emotions after the game and just the way that he leads that team, those guys don't give up. They don't give up.
Becky Hammond needs to come out real quick and just say about 3-4 words. I was wrong. That's all she's got to do. I'm waiting to hear it because she made this big to-do. You can't win a world title with Jalen Brunson. Well, I got news for you. You can.
They just did it.
They
can, and they did.
That dude makes impossible shots. I've never seen anything like it.
In the fourth quarter, I would stick him in a jail somewhere because you can't guard him.
You can't
in the fourth quarter. It's unbelievable.
Oh, he does some unspeakable things to the opponent. Oh, several championships were won this weekend. Congratulations to the Carolina Hurricanes. They won their second Stanley Cup in franchise history. They beat the Golden Knights 3-0 yesterday.
The longer the series went, the less Vegas brought to the table, Carolina dominated late. They really did.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Yesterday, they dominated. Hey, like I said, George, I asked you. I was like, I didn't even look at it. I got a little nauseous at the end. I went to sleep. I watched the first two periods, and you could just tell, man, they were skating like in Vegas had to turn it around, and they just had nothing.
They couldn't get a shot on goal virtually the entire second period. When
Crazy.
that happens, you're not going to win.
No.
There was another big event last night that might have caused your attention to divert a little bit from the Stanley Cup, and that's because I'm not a big UFC guy, but I did watch last night because it was pretty historic. There was a UFC fight on the front lawn of the White House last night. There was actually 7 of them, and it was one of the best cards, I guess, in UFC history because there were 7 knockouts. That's never happened before. Did any of you see any of it? It was on Paramount Plus.
No, I know. I watched one of the guys come out his entrance. I forget the guy's name. But yeah,
The
I was.
Hotik guy
I know.
or Hokit?
Well, I don't. Yeah, I can't remember his last name's hard to enunciate. I don't even know what it was, but I know my son watched it. He loves that UFC stuff. I watched that UFC years ago, and there was a guy he was double jointed, and a guy had him in one of those arm bars, and his arm was going back, and he never gave up. And I said, I'm out. And then the dude never gave up. So then the next round, he got through the round. The next round, the dude had him in the arm bar again and broke his arm. And that was the last one I've seen. I was like, I ain't doing it no more.
Man. Yeah, they were beating the crap out of each other yesterday. But yeah, George mentioned it at the top that the U.S. men's national team, they played Paraguay on Friday night and they won 4-1. They will take on Australia on Friday night. And I want to give a shout out today for the first time ever. I think I'm saying this right. Cape Verde, they're making their debut in the World Cup, and they tied Spain, who's actually the favorite to win the whole thing.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Did they really?
Did.
Wow.
So the Men's College World Series continues right now. Texas is up 7-2 on Alabama in the elimination game. They're going to the bottom of the 6th. Ole Miss was eliminated yesterday. And tonight, Georgia will take on Oklahoma in an SEC showdown.
How has Oklahoma caught fire like this, George? Like they weren't.
I don't know.
At the beginning of the season, they weren't very good, and they were. I think they finally caught a hot streak and got up to ranked, like in number 8, and then they kind of went downhill. I guess they had some injuries, but man, they're playing just as good as Georgia right now. It seems.
When I saw them here against Vandy, I want to say late April, I didn't come away saying, "Ooh, that's an Omaha team." I just didn't.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for them.
As the days go on, the Brennan Sorsby saga takes new twists and turns. Today, the NCAA has asked for a court ruling on Texas Tech's Brennan Sorsby before the season, an expedited ruling, because as of right now, they're set to go to court in February. So after the season is over, and the Big 12 is filing a lawsuit against Texas Tech, in which they have the support of several attorney generals outside of the state of Texas.
Kelly, I will stick with what I have been saying.
You don't think he's going to play?
Plays. I don't.
And I hope
That's
you're right.
A lot of heat, man.
I really
That's
hope
a lot
you're
of heat being put on them. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Seems like they're trying to stick with him, but like I just don't know how you can. I don't know, man. That's a lot of heat being put on that school.
They put out a 20-minute video. I guess it was late Thursday night, Friday morning. It's 20 minutes of anybody's life they'll never get back. What a load of crap.
Just a bunch of gaslighting. That's all it was.
Unbelievable.
So Kentucky has a new athletic director. I believe it was in April that Mitch Barnhart decided to step down after 24 years. They've hired Michigan State athletic director Jay Batt to serve in the same position. And Tom Izzo, the men's basketball coach, had some really strong comments saying that he is fed up with the way things are and he'll have more comments at a later time.
So Jay Batt, if I remember correctly, was at Georgia Tech, then went to Michigan State, and now has hopscotched to Lexington.
Yep.
And all of this in a span of about 3 years. Wow.
I'm sure that's what Izzo's talking about, and I'm sure he's talking about loyalty because there is none anymore. It's gone. It's out the window.
Oh, yes, it is.
Apparently, Michigan State's having some issues with their board of trustees too. So he's fired up, and we'll hear more about it later.
What do you mean they're having issues?
I just saw on Twitter that Pete Thamel put out they're having some issues with their board of trustees.
What are they going to spank them?
I don't know. They seem pretty fired up. It's like a 1:30 video on Twitter. So if you haven't seen it, go see it.
So are you done?
No.
Oh,
Two
Lord.
things. James Pierce
like
is reporting to Falcons minicamp today after being arrested. And the Chicago Bulls have a new head coach, former NBA player Tiago Splitter.
Wait a minute. Say that again.
Which part?
The last one.
The Bulls have hired new head coach Tiago Splitter, former NBA player for the Spurs.
So Tiago was Portland's head coach. And while they were in the playoffs, the new owner was busy out shopping the job. And that did not go over well in NBA circles. So good for him.
How was that? How was that?
That's shady.
That is a little shaky. Okay,
Yes.
after the break, Terry McCormick is going to join us. We're going to talk about what is going on with Cam Ward. Is it serious? Is it just simply OTAs? We'll get Terry's take on that. And then Kelly at 4 o'clock.
There you go, George. What do you
That
got?
was a
Watch
little-
it, George.
Yeah, that was a little Freudian.
That's a finger bite right there.
That was. Don't do that again. Former plaster intern Alex Kranzler, most recently at Vanderbilt, is pitching right now in the MLB Draft League. Even I didn't quite know what that was. He will join us to talk about it, talk about how he's preparing for the Major League Baseball draft, because after all, he is a plaster intern. Kelly, what does that do for him?
Absolutely nothing. It goes against him in many instances. And I'm going to ask him just that question. Is there anything that you learned that is of significance from the George Plaster show? And I'm 100% sure that his answer will be no.
Should be fairly brief. Okay, we'll go to the break. Terry McCormick to join us here in about 3 minutes on the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun.
At Wilson Bank & Trust, we believe you shouldn't have to choose between personal service and digital solutions. As your local independent bank, we're proud to offer the relationships and trusted service you expect, along with the tools and technology that keep you moving forward. So whether you're growing a business, buying a home, or planning for the future, we're here to help. Because this isn't just where we work, it's where we live too. Wilson Bank & Trust, here to get you there. Member FDIC.
Are you looking for expert medical care in Nashville without leaving your home? Medical House Calls brings concierge-level health care directly to your door. Whether you need urgent attention, ongoing primary care, revitalizing IV therapy, or medically guided weight loss, our experienced providers are just a phone call away at 615-838-2375 or go online, medicalhousecalls.com.
Are you tired of living with back pain? What would you do if the pain was gone?
At the Dr. Gill Center, we've helped thousands of people over the last 30 years break free from pain and get back to living life. We're committed to your outcomes, and our caring team listens, understands, and offers real solutions to neuropathy, back pain, and joint pain without unnecessary surgery or medication. Choose the clinic that listens. Choose the clinic that cares. Call the Dr. Gill Center today at 615-882-4838.
Let's make your pain-free life a reality. Make your pain-free life a reality.
ESPN Radio lives here. Your sports live here on ESPN 94.9 The Fan.
Love is a burning thing, and it makes a fiery ring.
It sure does.
Would have been nice to hear this song a few more times last season.
Yeah, that's not a lot of playing of that. Terry McCormick joins us. For those of you who wonder what we're talking about, the Titans have used that in recent years as sort of their touchdown music. And it burns. Sorry. Let's say hello to Terry McCormick, TitanInsider.com, Main Street Media. Terry, how are you?
Doing good, George. How are you guys?
Can you sing that song?
Well, I don't know. I have before. It's on my iPhone on the playlist somewhere.
Okay, that's wonderful. So it's gotten out, as you well know, that Cam Ward is struggling during OTAs. Is this anything to be concerned about based on what you've seen, or is it just the time of the year and who cares?
Well, there's not a lot to be concerned about. I think everything gets overanalyzed, over-scrutinized at this time of year. But I'll say this. I don't think it's, that it's not nothing. I'll say that. It's a little bit concerning to me that he's missing open receivers and, he's having trouble connecting a lot on the deep balls that he's throwing. And, you can use the excuse of a new offense, a new coordinator, new teammates, all those things. But, Mitch Trubisky's brand new and he hadn't seemed to have any trouble with it. Will Levis is new to the offense and he's had some pretty good days. So I don't know why Cam Ward would be the exception. To me, I think it's more of a mechanics thing than it is a learn the offense thing.
So just for the record, best as you can tell, what's the big difference between a Brian Callahan offense and a Brian Daboll offense?
I think, just to the naked, I think this is more, more option routes and things like that, where the quarterback and the receiver have to be on the same page as they learn, how it works, and so that they can, be on the same page and run the right route and deliver the ball into the right space. And also, I don't think it's as much top down, which Kelly can probably explain better than I can, but top down generally means you look at option number one is generally the guy running the deepest route, and then you start to check yourself back down to the intermediate and then the short. I don't think there's nearly as much of that in this offense either.
Yeah, and George, each route has concepts, man, and you have reads. So, we used to call this stuff Frisco, and it was kind of like the San Francisco 49ers used to run. They used to call it, we called it a drag route, but they would call it a drive route, and then you had an in route, and then you would work the left side, and then you have guys coming to you. But Terry's right. I mean, you always, like, if there's a shot and you get what you want and you go over it in practice and the coaches say, hey, if we're in second and 7 or second and long or, whatever the situation is, they're going to give us this. We're going to call this, and that's what we're looking for. So if you got it, you got it. If not, check it down. And that's kind of what Terry's talking about.
So, Terry, how much of this appears to be mechanics and all that kind of stuff?
I think a decent bit of it is mechanics because it seems like when he's missed a lot, it's throwing the ball to the right, those little flares, screens to the right-hand side, and also passes down the field. He there's some passes where you have to put some air under it, and then there's some you need to throw on a line. And he seems to be more of a throw on a line guy, even though sometimes you got to put some air under the ball.
Oh, that came through loud and clear. Terry, who are we talking to?
That's my grandson.
Really?
Yeah.
How old is he?
He is 4.
Okay. Has he started to develop this Yankee stuff?
He's got a few Yankees items, but he's not. He's more of a music guy. It seems like he's all the time running around with guitars and banjos and things in his hands.
That can all change though with one Chris Sale strikeout.
You mean Cam Schlittler?
Well, could be because he's a pretty good pitcher. So talk to me about the other two. Is Trubisky pretty much the guaranteed number 2, or is there a real competition? What is there in your mind?
It feels like Trubisky has the inside track to be number 2 because he's the veteran guy. He's the guy that, you can put him in. It feels pretty safe when he's in there. He's not going to put the ball in harm's way a whole lot. He's not going to do things that, may cause you problems, throwing the ball into traffic and things like that. And, Levis, we know, kind of what his future or what he's been in the past here and how that's kind of worked. But I think, he is starting to, Levis has strung together a couple of nice days at practice and looked pretty good after a rough start. So who knows? Maybe he's turning the corner a little bit. But right now, I'd probably say Trubisky is number 2.
Terry, they've never really said much when it comes to the bringing back of Will Levis. He was gone a year ago with the shoulder stuff. What do you think they really want to do with him?
That's the big mystery, George. I mean, one, they haven't made him available to us the whole time, even though we have requested him. And, every time you're asked about him, they say, well, he's getting a fresh start here. He's coming in, he's working hard. They say all the right things, and they say he's doing the right things. But, I would say there's a part of them that would like to get something for him if they can trade him away and get something decent in return. But I don't think they are at the point where they just want to give him away because they're not at the point as an organization where they can just afford to run off players that have talent. We've seen that over the last couple of years. They can't just afford to move on from a guy, who has some talent.
Does this feel to you like it's one of two things, that they're either waiting to see if there are any injuries in their own camp that, suddenly there's a bigger need for him, or are they waiting to see what other training camps in August, what kind of injuries some of those produce?
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like that could be it. I mean, because, obviously if some other team has an injury at the quarterback position, the Titans wouldn't mind dealing Levis to them if they could get a decent return on it. And then obviously if something were to happen to one of their other 2 quarterbacks, Levis would be a nice insurance policy.
Kelly, take it from there.
Let me ask you, let's go back to Cam Ward. Is he, I know he's been cleared by everybody, but is he totally healthy, or does he look like that injury that he had at the end of the season? Because it's not an easy thing. I remember when Drew Brees had that injury, and everybody heals differently, Terry. But do you think that maybe some of that's still bothering him a little bit?
Well, everybody you ask over there, either on the record or off, they seem to say he's fine, but I wouldn't rule it out. Just me personally, I wouldn't rule it out because, I mean, granted, he had some accuracy issues last year. I think we all know that. And a lot of it was attributed to his footwork and his mechanics and things like that. But I don't think he had it to this extent in OTAs and things like that. So, yeah, I think that I can't rule it out. I can't confirm it, but I can't rule it out either.
It seems like, you talked about it. There's some consistency or some inconsistency with you throwing it to the right. And that might be a deal. I can remember when I went through my shoulder stuff, I had it in college. And then when I was with the Browns, and I can remember when my shoulder just let go. And when I was in college, like certain things would bother it before I found out what was going on. You try to hide it, but then at some point it gets to where, it's miserable and you can't do it anymore. Now I know that he had obviously that injury at the end of the season against Jacksonville. But like if he's having some inconsistency going to one side, I mean, that might be a deal right there where he is like physically having some issues. Like, man, that hurts.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at all if that's the case. But nobody over there is coming clean and saying, yeah, the shoulder's bothering him, because remember, they opted against surgery. They opted for rest and rehab to say that was going to be good enough. And if they had opted for surgery, then he probably would have still been on the shelf or just coming off right now and just starting some light throwing and things like that. Because from what I understand, that's about a 4-month injury, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know, and everybody heals differently. And when you start getting into stuff where with throwing athletes, you just truly never know. So I'm wondering if they're starting to rethink about, man, maybe we should have allowed him to have surgery. I don't know, man. It's just it's a tough deal, and I hate that we're talking about this stuff. I mean, you're right. And I was reading some stuff today that some people are saying, well, he's not the guy. He's not the guy. I think it's way too early. We're talking about June mini camps and OTAs right now. So we still got some time. I think he's going to be the guy, but people just need to relax a little bit and let him do his job. I don't know if he's still hurting, but it seems to me, Terry, that seems maybe kind of getting into the equation. He's still got some things that are kind of hanging him up right there, and it's hurting him. Just to me,
I mean, I don't disagree with you. Like I said, nobody has confirmed it. Nobody is saying anything to that effect. You ask about it, they say it's fine. He's coming along. All those sorts of things. But having had that injury as recently as he did in the last game of the season, and seeing how it sort of affected Levis when he had it in 2024, it wouldn't shock me if, he's still healing from that injury and not quite 100%. And that might explain some of the missed throws.
It's funny that you get all the gamut of, I'm glad they picked Carnell Tate, or I would never have picked Carnell Tate. But like after all this is finished and said and done with right now, were you impressed with Carnell Tate and all the things that he could do on a football field? And do you think that, and I kind of asked you this the last time, but I want to know how the organization feels about him. Because here's the deal. When you draft a guy, you don't truly know. You've done all your research and you've done all this stuff.
Hold on, Kelly.
Yes,
Was that
sir.
Hal Steinbrenner?
It was the bat phone.
And you've made me lose my train of thought. But, George, when you're in the organization, you don't truly know what you got. You think you do, and you think you do, but like when somebody pans out like that, or and I know it's still OTAs and we don't have pads on. I get it, but his track record shows that he can do it. But like I'm sure they're beating their chest saying we made that pick. So was he as impressive as you thought he was going to be?
I was impressed with him. I'll be honest with you. I was impressed with him in a way that I've not been impressed with a young wide receiver over there probably since A.J. Brown. Different type of receiver, but certainly impressive in what he was able to do. The thing is, will it translate once the pads go on and once teams start to game plan for him? But just the raw skills, I was very impressed.
So Trubisky, y'all talked about Trubisky, and it's funny about you listen to Trubisky kill Cam Ward, Will Levis kill Cam Ward. I understand that they've got a little bit more experience. It doesn't matter. Will Levis is still Will Levis, and Trubisky's been around the league, I think, for 9 years, but he has a lot of experience because he was with the Tierney guy in Buffalo and he's with Brian Daboll in Buffalo. So he's kind of got a head start on these guys. And that's why I tell people that they need to relax. But, I don't think that Mitchell Trubisky's the guy that, I think his track records kind of prove that he is kind of a backup.
Yeah,
You know, and he haven't played the last couple of years, and I think that's what they're thinking of him. But like, is he? I know you said he's the guy, number 2 guy, but is that what they're thinking? You think?
I think so. I think so. I mean, and I'll throw this scenario out there at you too, because remember Daboll last year with the Giants, he had Jackson Dart, the rookie, but he
Right.
started the year with Russell Wilson, and then he ended the year with Jameis Winston.
Right.
So he went through 3 quarterbacks last year with the Giants, and it's one of those deals where Cam Ward is the guy. I don't think there's no argument there. He's the guy until he shows you he's not the guy or he's injured. So if Cam Ward were to twist an ankle and not be able to finish a game, I think you'd want a veteran like Mitch Trubisky to come in, finish up, run the offense, not take a whole lot of chances, but give you a chance to win. Would you agree?
I do
But
agree.
let's say if Cam Ward pulls a hamstring and he's going to be out for 4 games. If you're the Titans and you're in the situation that they're in, probably not going to be contending this year. If I've got a 4-game stretch, maybe I roll with Will Levis in that spot because he's got more upside.
I knew that's where you were going. Yeah, I guess. And I'm like George. I don't. I mean, are they going to keep this guy? I mean, I guess
the
they are.
question.
I don't. That's the question everybody wants to know.
I mean, I would think that if they were going to trade him, that they would have already entertained some offers. But the thing that kind of messes that up is he missed all of last year, so nobody really knows what he's got except for the people that are there watching the Titans practicing OTAs and seeing what he's doing. He looks pretty good. The arm looks healthy. He's making the throws, that he needs to make and that sort of thing. Early on, the interception bugaboo kind of got him again, but the last couple of days he's straightened up and he's looked pretty good. Connor was out there, or Parker was out there some, and he'll tell you that there were he was out there a day when he didn't look so great, and he was out there a day when he looked like a top 10 quarterback in the league. That's just part of the Will Levis ride, I guess. And what they do with him and if they keep him, it's all up in the air.
Can't put too much confidence in Parker. He really doesn't know what he's looking at when it comes to that there, Terry.
You're right.
I mean,
Cam Ward's a bust. It's all over.
Hey, Terry, tell me this. The teams are always trying to get better. Do you see any moves? And the reason that I'm asking this is, was Calvin Ridley? What do you think? Would they ever trade? Maybe think about trading Calvin Ridley or Tony Pollard to maybe get better, because those guys have got some experience. They're there. They do have some value left. I mean, could you see them doing that?
I could. I think maybe closer to the trade deadline, once teams kind of sort out and teams are, you kind of start to separate the contenders from the pretenders, and teams start to say, hey, we could use a running back or we could use a receiver. Yeah, I can see guys being moved on from at the trade deadline, but I don't think it's going to happen, here before camp gets started or even during camp. I think they'll roll with those guys for now.
Okay, so this is my last question here, and I kind of asked this last time, but I really want to know, Mike Borgonzi. Confidence. Do you have confidence with seeing what he did in the draft and seeing what he's done, seeing how he's kind of filled some pieces? Do you think this is a different Titans organization right now than a couple of years ago, or is it a wait and see deal? Do you have confidence in Mike Borgonzi? Are people around you that you deal with, are they seeing things differently in the organization?
I think so. I think, Borgonzi kind of gives off the aura that he knows what's going on and that he has a plan to fix it. And in past times, I can't say that was always the case. The last couple of years, it just seemed like chaos. But Borgonzi does seem to have his finger on the pulse of what's going on out there. And, time will tell if his draft picks work out. The biggest one that needs to work out is Cam Ward, obviously, because he plays the most important position. But beyond that, Carnell Tate, Keldrick Falk, Femi Oladejo, he's had good early returns with DK, and Gunnar Helm. So we'll see. But it does it's starting to look promising, but it's very early in the process, and they probably need one more year, one more full off season of free agency in the draft before you can start to really look at this team and say, okay, it's got a chance.
So, Terry, I think it was Corey Curtis who brought this up to me because we were standing out there at Titans practice. Could you imagine, 5 years ago, you have Cam Ward, who was the first overall pick. You have Mitch Trubisky, who was the second overall pick in his draft, drafted before Patrick Mahomes. You have Will Levis and Hendon Hooker, who Titans fans were arguing about. The Titans should have drafted Hendon Hooker instead of Will Levis, and both at one time were thought to be top, 15 picks. I mean, it's just crazy where you're looking at the Titans quarterback room where it is now compared to where we thought it might be 5 years ago.
Yeah, if you had taken each of those guys when they were drafted, you'd think you had an embarrassment of riches at the position. As it is, you've got a young quarterback that you drafted first overall that you're trying to get to the point where he can be a franchise quarterback. You've got another guy who was a high draft pick that you're using to mentor him and is kind of your safety net as a backup. And then you've got a third guy in Levis who you're either showcasing him for a trade or you're holding on to him as an insurance policy. And then you've got Hendon Hooker, who, quite honestly, with how little work he's gotten, I don't know why they signed him, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, he hasn't run really at all with the third team, so I don't know. But we're sitting here talking about how Cam Ward's missing these deep passes, but it's June. Does the same thing apply to Carnell Tate? Because I will agree, I was standing right there when Carnell Tate made the one-handed catch, and it's impressive. But at the same time, these guys aren't wearing pads, and it was routes on air. Does that same thing apply to Carnell Tate as well?
Sure it does. Sure. Absolutely. It applies to every guy out there. Kelly will tell you this from his days of playing. There are guys who show up in, T-shirts and shorts out there in June and before the pads go on, and they look like Superman. And then they get in a game, and even in a preseason game or a camp practice, and they just disappear. And you go, what happened to that guy? I thought he was going to be good, and he can't create any separation. He can't catch it when you throw it to him. It happens. And then there's some guys who are right the opposite, who don't look good in those type situations, but you put the pads on and something electric happens with them.
I want to spark a little controversy here. Do you think Xavier Restrepo makes the final 53?
I think he's more of a practice squad guy. I just think
who would he replace?
I think the top 6 receivers are in this order. I think, obviously Tate, Ridley, Wan'Dale Robinson, DK, Manor, and Bryce Oliver. Bryce Oliver's bringing more to the table on special teams, and I think he's a better all-around receiver than Restrepo.
Do you think Xavier Restrepo would replace Mason Kinsey maybe? Because I know he plays a little bit of special teams, but since he's not as fast, not as big, he can't really contribute much. But this Brian Daboll offense fits a guy like Restrepo pretty well.
It does. And then there's another guy you can throw in the equation too, this Hank Beatty. That, that's looked really good out there in the first weeks of the OTAs and stuff. He's another guy that kind of fits that description. He's about 5'9" and, kind of slightly built just like Restrepo and Kinsey, but he's out there in the mix too. I mean, one thing I've learned, never count out Mason Kinsey though. I mean, he's going to end up he's going to be on the practice squad for so long. They're going to have to induct him in the Ring of Honor in a few years.
Or Julius Chestnut. They're always around. So,
exactly.
Will we see Dan Moore and JC Latham tomorrow?
You should. It's mandatory minicamp, so they should be out there. I would think so.
Is it a concern that they weren't out there at all for OTAs?
Well, with a new coaching staff, I would say yes. Most people would tell you no, on the record because it's voluntary. But I think it would be better if both those guys had showed up. It's not like either of them was an all-pro last year.
Right. And I mean, I would ask Kelly this too. I would just think if it's a new offense, I'd want to be in it as much as possible and get as many reps, especially if I'm not an all-pro.
Voluntary sometimes, and most of the time don't mean voluntary. They just say that.
Voluntary. If your name is Jeffrey Simmons, it's voluntary. If your name is anybody else,
That's
it's
about
really
it.
not.
Yes, for real.
What about John Franklin Myers?
Obviously, I guess he's earned a certain amount of cachet
Yeah.
too. Plus, it also helps. He already knows Salah's defense. I haven't been in it before.
All right, and this will be my last thing about Will Levis, because I think you would agree that at least when I've been out there, he's probably had the best throw of practice. But then he'll throw a ball, I'm just like, what in the world? So it's a lot of this up and down stuff that we've already seen from Will Levis. So in my opinion, at least from the two practices that I've seen, I'll be out there tomorrow too, not much has really changed.
Yeah, I would sort of agree with that. Like I said, I thought he looked really good. Were you out there on Tuesday and Thursday?
Yeah.
Okay, he looked pretty good in those practices. He didn't put the ball in harm's way in either of those days. But early on, yeah, it was rough, especially that one pass that the defensive lineman picked off. And I'm looking at that going, that looked just like what happened in Miami 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So there's some of that. But, hey, he's allowed to improve the same way that Cam Ward's allowed to improve, It's one of those things. Maybe he learned something.
Terry, this was good stuff. Really appreciate your taking the time to come on with us. Thank you as always.
No problem. You guys have a good one.
Terry McCormick, Main Street Media and TitanInsider.com. We'll pick Kelly's brain about all this quarterback stuff when we come back on the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
Baseball is just like music. You don't believe me? Let me show you. It's jazz, improvised and unpredictable. It's rock. The crowd explodes like a guitar through a wall of amps. It's rap, fast, sharp, all rhythm and timing. It's country, nothing but 3 outs and the truth. Do you believe me now? Look, no matter what music you're into, the hottest track in town, Nashville Sounds Baseball. Welcome to Hit City.
Sports and Social at Green Hills Mall is the new home for our Football Night in Nashville promotion. Their food is terrific. Their TV setup looks like a race and sports book in Vegas. And if you're a sports fan, you can't beat it. Starting September the 4th, we'll broadcast from Sports and Social every Thursday night. There's Pop-A-Shot, great football, and the chance to win a beautiful Mikey's Motors golf cart. See you at Sports and Social in Green Hills Mall.
Clarksville, get ready. Because when the doors open at F&M Bank Arena, the noise rises. At the Nashville Cats. The walls shake. And the Cats take control. Fast plays. Big hits. Non-stop arena football. Get in the den. Get your season tickets now.
You've heard me talk about the putting zone. Well, guess what? It's now open, and it offers a revolutionary indoor golf experience featuring state-of-the-art putting surfaces designed to replicate real-world course conditions. It allows players of all skill levels to practice, compete in tournaments, and connect year-round. Go by and see them at 3040 Sidco Drive and tell them Plaz sent you. Sidco Drive and tell them Plaz sent you.
It's the George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
We are back. It's the middle of June, so some of this seems maybe a little bit early. Kelly, you've been around the pro football block for a long time. Coaches don't worry about veterans in June, but when it's a second-year player like Cam Ward, when do you start to worry a little bit, and what steps do you take if you are worried?
Yeah, that's a really good question, George. That's kind of a tough question to answer. I mean, every case is and every individual case is different. I'm starting to wonder, when Terry's talking about that, I'm starting to wonder if he's still got a hitch in his giddy up, man, because it doesn't sound like he's feeling 100% with his shoulder, with his arm. And I know that he's sometimes he drops down and he throws the ball sidearm a little bit. That's just kind of who he is. But you would hate to go back on it and say, man, I wish I would have had surgery to go ahead and repair this, because I've been in those situations. And when even when I was thinking back in college, George, I knew something was wrong with my shoulder, but I could still throw. But it hurt, and I didn't know what was going on. And I tried to keep quiet about it for a couple of days, and then it got to the point where I just couldn't throw anymore. And if he's got a deal where it's bothering him throwing to a certain way, he obviously needs to speak up and say, no, this is just my opinion. But like sometimes guys and the testosterone that we're filled with, we don't want to tell anybody. We want to just fight through it. We say, hey, it's going to get better. And I don't know anything about what's going on, but it just sounds like that he may have some stuff. And then the coach is like, my son just had labrum surgery, and we were talking about that, and he was talking about his coach, that he talked to his coach, and the coach was like, a little bit, he was a little hesitant about his shoulder. And I'm like, but you got to understand, son, when I had that in college, my coaches were too, because you're never 100% when you come back. You're never like, they could do the greatest job ever, but you've still had surgery. You still got some scar tissue going on in there. So you may not come back like you were. And that's everybody's thought. And, I don't know when you start thinking that, but there are times, there are murmurs in the coach's room. They talk about that stuff. They evaluate every practice, every throw. And, there's times where they say, man, I'm just not sure this guy's going to make it. I don't think they're there yet. Because I think Cam Ward, I've told y'all, I think he's the guy for this organization, but I don't know that. And I don't know how his arm's feeling right now. And with Terry saying the things that he's saying, I think he's still feeling something with that arm. And when you're a throwing athlete, man, that's your livelihood.
Yep.
And it's a little upsetting, if I'm not 100% and I don't feel 100%, and I feel like it's hindering me of completing balls.
Kelly,
go ahead.
Kelly, I feel like I've been living this out in baseball. Spencer Strider with the Braves is an electric kid.
I saw that the other day. Yeah.
Right, at his best. But I had been feeling for about 3 starts, wow, he's getting hit pretty good. You get 5 1/3, 3 runs, and and then all of a sudden the radar gun takes this dramatic drop. They go out there and he says, yeah, I've got elbow problems. And look, I don't want to play doctor here because that's not fair to Cam Ward.
Right.
But as a coach, would you be asking him, I need to know, are you 100%? You think they're doing that?
I don't know that. I'm not in there. I would think that they would say that because I think Brian Daboll is a kind of an upfront, aggressive offensive coordinator, and I think he would ask that. Yes, I do, but that's certainly what I would ask because I love the new rule that they got in the National Football League where they've got spotters upstairs, and when somebody gets knocked out, if they're looking down there and they see something that they don't like, they can tell because we're not. I promise you, man. There were times I was dinged. And I'm not going to tell you the truth, man, because I wanted to play. Right. I'm not going to tell you the truth, and that's the harsh reality of it. I'm a guy, and I'm not going to tell you that. And but when it comes to your arm, it comes a point where, and when I was in college, I said this earlier that I just couldn't throw anymore. And it was fairly evident. And coach is like, what's going on with you? And I was like, Coach, my arm is killing me, man. And then I had to go get evaluated. And then we found out I had a rotator cuff deal. So, you have to ask, and you have to ask those tough questions. If you see something that, he's normally hitting and he's not, is something going on with your arm, Cam?
Okay, we got 45 seconds. Go, Parker.
also don't know if Brian Daboll is changing his motion at all behind the scenes. Like, that's just stuff that people aren't aware of.
We don't know.
I know they're definitely messing with his feet. But when Josh Allen first got to Buffalo from Wyoming, Brian Daboll messed with his throwing motion, changed it up a little bit. So if he's doing that behind the scenes, how would anybody else know? We don't know. So all these people saying that Cam's a bust, it's just they're being naive. Yeah,
way too early. Nobody knows what goes on behind closed doors, man. We all think we know, but we don't know. We're not in the room.
Okay, hour number 1 is in the books. Hour number 2 will lead off with a Plaster former intern and a Vanderbilt pitcher, Alex Kranzler. Now, Kelly is going to very unprofessionally say, "Did you learn anything?" He's going to go to Alex into saying, "I didn't learn a damn thing." And the scary thing is that's probably the truth, but he will join us next on the George Plaster Show.
The director is back. Hello again, everybody. It's the George Plaster Show. Hope you'll join me, Kelly Holcomb, and Billy Derrick Monday through Friday on 94.9 The Fan from 3 to 5 p.m. Talk sports with the Plaz. The George Plaster Show. Weekday afternoons at 3 on 94.9 The Fan and the Game Nashville Sports Network.
Looking for the ultimate team outing that gives back to a great cause? Join CORE in supporting food and beverage service families during times of crisis at their inaugural Society Insurance Top Golf Invitational on Monday, June 15th from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m.
All right, sounds good.
Nashville. Players get dinner, drink tickets, 2 hours of tournament play, chances to win prizes, and more, all for $67 a player or $400 for a team of 6. Visit coregives.org/topgolf-invitational.
Nashville Sounds fans, score your Sounds exclusive BOGO biscuit deal through June 30th at maplestreetbiscuits.com/sounds.
My obstructive hypertrophic cardiomyopathy kept me from baseball games with my boys. The stairs were too much. With Camzyos, my symptoms have improved and I can be more active again. Camzyos is a cardiac myosin inhibitor, the first in its class to treat adults with symptomatic OHCM. Camzyos may improve your symptoms and ability to be active, and it reduced obstruction in the heart 4 times more.
In a 30-week study, Camzyos, mavacamten, reduced post-exercise obstruction on average 47 units of pressure versus 10 with placebo. Results may vary. Camzyos may cause serious side effects, including heart failure that can lead to death, a risk that's increased with serious infection, irregular heartbeat, or with certain other medicines. Do not stop, start, or change medicines or dose without telling your doctor. You must have echocardiograms before and during treatment. Seek help for new or worsening heart failure symptoms. Camzyos is only available through a restricted program. Before taking, tell your doctor about all your medical conditions and current or planned pregnancy, as Camzyos may harm your unborn baby.
Visit Camzyos.com or call 1-855-CAMZYOS after portrayal.
Future leaders begin at DePauw University. In the School of Business and Leadership, students gain the skills and confidence to make their mark and change the world. Step up, stand out, and lead with purpose. Learn more at depaw.edu.
Hey guys, Big Joe here from my friends over at Busy Bee. Listen, they got something great for you. You can enter to win a free 3-day beach getaway with purchase of any new AC unit. Now, this is only for clients who purchase a new AC unit in June 2026 are eligible to enter this drawing. Only one winner, restrictions apply, but it's awesome. And that's why we love Busy Bee. Visit them online at busybhvac.com.
Call 775-7833.
Find the one you've been waiting for at Haverty's, now open in Mount Juliet. Transform your home with furniture made to last. Visit any of our 3 convenient locations and find our newest store at Providence Marketplace.
Hey, Nashville! Join us Saturday from 9 to 11 a.m. at the new Dunkin' on Highway 70 South. Meet Banana Ball stars from the Party Animals and Texas Tailgaters. Grab photos and autographs, enjoy giveaways, and celebrate the grand opening with us. Don't miss this family-friendly event from Dunkin' and Banana Ball at the brand new Dunkin' on Highway 70 South, helping Nashville celebrate this exciting grand opening. If you're nearby, come join the fun before 11 a.m.
I'm Emmitt Smith. Be ready to rescue someone in an opioid emergency. Lay them on their back, use Narcan nasal spray as directed, and dial 911. Stay and continue to administer additional doses as needed. Visit readytorescue.com.
Now, here's your latest Fox 17 Code Red weather report.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Greg Bobis. Our forecast starting off, humidity stays low throughout the day and high temperatures in the upper 70s, close to 80 degrees. We'll have plenty of sunshine throughout the entire day.
Your sports live here on the Game Nashville Sports Network.
Your sports live here. WBUZ HD3 Laverne. All around the world on the Game Nashville app. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network. ESPN 94.9. The Fan. A Cromwell media station.
It's the George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Time for our stat of the day, brought to you by Apple Collision Centers. When was the last time Oklahoma won the NCAA Division I baseball national championship?
And the answer is, I don't have a flippin' clue.
I'm going to say none.
I like your answer, although I don't think it's true. But throw it out there. Let's see what we got.
Answer is none. Wrong answer. 1994.
Gosh. 94.
94.
Big 12, I guess.
Were you even born then? Were you even born then, Parker?
No, I was not.
Gosh.
7 years later,
Wow.
though.
Wow.
Amazing.
Crazy.
So, Kelly, I know you have breathlessly awaited this as we welcome
I
all
have.
of you into the 4 o'clock hour from our digs at the Fordyce Center in Bellevue. We're headed up to New Jersey, and we're going to talk with a plaster intern of the past and a former Vanderbilt pitcher, and Alex Kranzler. Alex, I'd love to welcome you to the show, but the fact of it is Kelly's wanting to hog this. He is dying to ask you a question.
Alex, when I saw your name that George sent over today, George always wants to pump his chest saying that Alex was a former George Plaster Show intern. Is there anything that's going to help you in life, or that's going to help you get a job, or that's going to help your resume by being involved in the George Plaster Show? Is there anything that was good that happened your time here with George?
I mean, I definitely learned a little bit, but I feel like I
Learned
kind of
what?
got
Alex, please tell us what you learned, please.
So he wants specifics.
He told me I got too much John Sterling in me when I would try to go through some baseball broadcasting with him. So I could take that moving forward, maybe.
We did do a practice play-by-play one night of a baseball
Gosh.
game. That's all you could come with?
Did you just look at George sometimes and say, what am I doing? I am wasting 2 hours of my life I'll never get back.
Hey, at least it was fun, though.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Okay.
there,
Okay, Alex. Better you than me, man. Sorry.
Mr. Negative. Always trying to tear down. Okay, so Alex, first of all, lay it out there. Tell people where you are, what you're doing. And in all honesty, I had never heard of the MLB Draft League until you told me about it.
Yeah, so basically I'm in New Jersey. Right now I'm at my house because we have an off day, but I'm pitching down in Trenton for the Trenton Thunder. It's part of the MLB Draft League, which is essentially a summer ball league, kind of similar to like the Cape Cod League, which is the one most people know. But I'd say the main difference between the Cape Cod League and the Draft League is the Draft League is more trying to showcase players than win games. So decided to come out here, try to help draft stock moving into into the draft, and just go out and compete.
This is, help me, sort of your last chance for a scout who might be on the fence post of, well, the beginning of his last year wasn't all that good, but boy, the end was really good, and I don't know what to think. Is this sort of the last shot to get that guy on the fence post in your corner?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you see it all the time where guys go out there, they play really well in the College World Series or in the playoffs, and their name keeps trickling up the draft board. So basically, obviously, unfortunately, not still playing in the college playoffs. So just had to give myself an opportunity somewhere to kind of show that the back half is the real me of my season, and just continue to show what I could do.
Okay. Yours is an interesting case because on one hand, the first half of the season, you want to throw it out. But the second half of the season, you got lights out. What did you find? What was there a mechanical adjustment? What happened?
I mean, there was definitely a little bit mechanics to it. Beginning half of the year was trying to chase a ride on four-seam fastballs, which has never really been me. Experiment obviously didn't work, and then I kind of came to a realization mid-season, like, just do what you do well and be yourself, and just keep moving forward. Kind of scrapped what had happened behind me. Said, I'm a sinker slider guy. I'm going to live and die that way, and that's pretty much all I did towards the end of the year, and it ended up working in my favor.
Okay, so tell people what you've done so far in Trenton, and then I'm going to ask you a little bit of the difference in starting and relieving, and which one do you want more?
Yeah, so I've made 2 starts out here. Say the first one, I guess from a traditional baseball line standpoint, was a good start, but was walking a little too many guys, and then the second start pretty much did exactly what I wanted to do. Had another good start, velocities ticking up a bit, which is good. I fired my hardest bullet since actually this time last year. So it's been good to kind of get back in the groove and just kind of feel like myself again almost.
Okay. Starting, relieving. You've done both. What's the preference, and what's different in your arsenal if it's starting pitcher, short reliever - closer?
Yeah, I mean, I've always preferred to start, but there's perks of both. I mean, you can't really replicate the adrenaline rush you get of coming out of the bullpen in a tight spot or in a close game. But I'd say the main difference is when you come out of the pen, you're letting your best stuff go right away, whether it be maxing out on fastballs or showing them every pitch you got, because you don't know how long you're going to be in the game. So it's just you got to get guys out right away. Whereas as a starter, you try to hide a little bit of the arsenal. You're not always throwing your fastball at 100%. Sometimes you got to, go for a location, try to create a ground ball, stuff like that. So I guess that's been the biggest learning experience the last couple of weeks, and having not really started much at school and college, just kind of getting back in that groove, getting back for a feel for those kind of little things.
Now, Kelly, you wouldn't know any of where we're going right now because you are a bit of a Friday and for certain a Saturday snob. You're nowhere to be found. Okay.
That's right.
So
I understand that about myself.
Yeah, well, that's wonderful. But I've had Alex on the air to talk a little bit about this. Mom worked for the NBA for a good while.
Oh,
and so
nice.
Through that, Alex Kranzler has one of the largest collections of sports memorabilia, sports jerseys signed, all this kind of stuff. I'm talking way into the dollars and dollars. I'm not going to throw a number out there, but it is a big time collection that he's amassed. So last year on a Thursday night, Kelly, he comes over to Sports and Social and he unloads this story on me that he's going to get Khalil Mack to sign a helmet. Okay. And he has learned that the Chargers are coming in a day earlier than normal. He's laying the whole itinerary out to me. And I told him that Khalil Mack was going to tell him to shove it in no uncertain terms. It wasn't going to work. But a day later, he sends me a picture of this helmet that Khalil Mack signed. Alex, will you take us through how you got that done?
Sure. I mean, I basically kind of knew where most of the football teams stay in Nashville when they come play. We had an off day that night, so I was pretty bored, and he's always a guy back in the day I've always wanted to get and never really had an opportunity. So I said, I had nothing to do that night. I might as well check it out and go. So went over there. Bus came in. I didn't see him off the bus, but then he went out to eat or something. I was pretty much in the lobby, and I asked him. I was like, "Hey, Khalil, you mind signing this helmet for me, please?" And he told me no. And just a last effort, I was like, "Hey, Khalil, it'll take you 3 seconds. It'll make my week." And he started dying laughing, and he said, "You're full of crap, but here, I'll sign it for you."
That's what he learned off the George Plaster show.
Oh, gosh.
I've known those tricks way before you.
Oh, I know that. I know. So okay, tell people about the NBA thing that you've got a streak that's unlike virtually anybody out there. Talk to me about that, and then we're gonna do a public service before we turn it over to Kelly.
Yeah, so I guess the one of the cooler, collections that I have that I kind of built by accident. I never really intended to do this. Me and a little bit of my dad too, just kind of got guys we liked, but I ended up getting every MVP in NBA history on a signed jersey with the exception of Wilt Chamberlain, which at some point I need to buy at some point kind of to finish that up.
Wow.
And then I also have everybody on the NBA 75 team except 8 guys. And the only living guy I'm missing is Nate Archibald. So I need to find a way to get him at some point, and then I'll buy the rest to kind of finish that up.
Okay, so let's go with that real quick. If a person out there has something that Nate Archibald has signed, you're saying you would purchase that from them, correct?
I mean, if it was a jersey, I'd consider it, but I'd prefer to get him myself. So it'd be more if they knew an event or something he was going to be at.
Okay, how would they reach you?
I mean, Instagram works. If you're on Instagram, I mean, I can leave my phone number too. You can text me. I guess
if somebody out there has the. Okay, let me ask it this way, because that's a dumb way for me to ask it. Have you ever really gotten what's the craziest way you got a jersey signed or a ball or an interview that you had just about given up?
I mean, it depends. It depends what your definition of crazy is. That's for sure. I'd say that the one that was least expected, I guess, is I found through a friend in December that Billy Cunningham, the longtime Sixer from like the 60s and 70s, lived about 10 minutes from my grandparents' house down in Florida. So I decided in December, I said, you know what? I'm going to go over there and see if he's home, and pretty much knock on the door. And I found out it was an apartment building, and ended up talking to the front desk lady, and she ended up getting it done for me. So that one was pretty cool.
Really?
Yeah.
What would Kelly's autograph be worth?
I
mean, I'd like for you to be honest.
Probably 50, 75 cents, something like that, George. I'm being honest too.
Well,
and my whole thing is this, Alex. You might as well go ahead and leave your phone number, because you've already given it to George, which is, I don't understand why you've done that. But you might as well go ahead and put it out there for everybody else now.
Kelly
probably has it memorized too.
We had so much fun the night before the Khalil Mack thing. And I'm soft pedaling it a little bit, because I told him in no uncertain terms, you ain't getting that. And he's going to tell you to go. He got it done.
He seems like that guy, man. What was the hardest autograph you've ever had to get, Alex?
Honestly, Verlander's always been the tough one back in the day. I mean,
Really?
I haven't gone for many baseball players recently. I've pretty much only gone for some of these NBA guys in the past couple years, but Verlander was probably always the toughest one.
Yeah, what was the I know you've already talked a little bit, but what was your coolest one that you've ever gotten? Like just the setup and everything. What was the coolest one that you've ever gotten?
Has to be Michael Jordan. I feel like you can't really
Tell us that, man. Tell us a little bit about that.
So it was a all-star game out in New Orleans. This was 2017, and at the time, I kind of got lucky. My mom switched departments with the NBA, and she was working for the owners, and he owned Charlotte at the time. So she had his meeting schedule for that whole weekend, and she was like, he's got to be at this hotel at this time for a meeting. Like, if you're there, I can't make him sign for you, but you'll have a shot. And, I went there at the time, saw him, had a jersey on me. And, it took a little bit of convincing, but after probably about 5 minutes of talking to him, he finally did it. And I asked him then right after, I was like, hey, can I get a picture, Mr. Jordan? And he turns to me and goes, don't be greedy, young man, and walked away. So, I mean, I got
don't be greedy, cool. Young man.
Who was the I don't want to say jerk, but who was hard to deal with getting an autograph?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say Manny Ramirez was like kind of the first one for me that was tough. I remember I was probably 10 years old, honestly. It was when the Cubs were like starting that run with Chris Bryant and Anthony Rizzo. He was one of the assistant coaches for them, and I was at the team hotel. And I didn't even know Manny Ramirez was going to be there, honestly. And then I saw him. He came out of the hotel. I asked him to sign very politely, and he pretty much told me to go F myself. So that was kind of
But you were persistent. Were you persistent?
A little bit, but I knew it kind of wasn't going anywhere. So I didn't end up getting him there, but I ended up getting him down the road.
Well, George told me about that, George. Since I'm a Friday snob and a Saturday snob, I knew that he did this because you said that on the show before. So yeah. I'll let that one lie. That is really a cool story. But let me ask you this, Alex. With this Major League Baseball deal that you're going through right now, what does your it's kind of intriguing to me because it's kind of like you talked about the Cape Cod League, and we had a guy on from the Cape Cod League a couple of years ago. But like, what does your day consist of right now?
Yeah, so I'll wake up around 9:30, relax. Yeah, sometimes yeah. I mean, pretty much just get breakfast, hang out. We don't have to be to the field until around 2:00, so we'll get over there around then, and then depending on whether I'm pitching or not, I'll either then go straight into throwing, shag for BP, lift after, do all my arm care type stuff, and then watch some baseball, or I'll pretty much chill until about 5:00 and then go through my routine and go pitch. So it's pretty much just all baseball, and then you get a little bit of downtime here and there in the mornings. But yeah, pretty much just playing every day.
So are there how many are there teams involved in this, or we just play like how many teams are involved?
Yeah, so there's 6 teams. Got the Trenton Thunder, which I'm on, and then there's 2 teams in Pennsylvania, a team in Maryland, a team in West Virginia, and a team in Ohio. So we just actually went out to West Virginia. They play at West Virginia University's field, so that was kind of cool to play out there, especially right before they were going to Omaha. So
that's cool. So okay, so you're from up there, right? You're staying at your place, right? Correct?
No. So I am from in New Jersey, but I'm up in North Jersey. So I'm staying actually at my buddy goes to school down at right by Trenton. So I'm staying at his house he uses for school.
Well, that's leading me to this question. What do guys do that don't have the ability to do what you got a buddy, but like, do they put guys up, or do agents are agents paying for this stuff? How does all this work?
No, so they put guys up at Ryder, which is a small college in South Jersey. So that's where most of the guys are staying, is just at dorms out there, which is about probably 10 minutes from the field.
Okay, so they are doing that like the Cape Cod League. Do they have people staying at like host houses or things like that, or no? It's just like dorms.
None of that in this league. Although I had to go through that in the Cape my freshman year. It's always a fun experience with host families. That's for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So I got two more questions, and I know George is gonna. This is nothing bad. I just want to ask about Vanderbilt. No, this is nothing bad. I just want to ask about Vanderbilt. Last year was the first time that Vanderbilt has not gone to the NCAA tournament, been to a regional, super regional, all this. Was that just a down year for Vanderbilt last year? Do you think Coach Corbs will get it back? Kind of what happened?
Yeah, I mean, first off, if there's one guy that can kind of figure out a college baseball team and get on track or get them back on track, it's definitely Tim Corbin. But I think it's just, didn't catch a lot of breaks, had a lot of injuries that kind of really killed us early in the year and kind of never recovered from it. And we're just a little bit too inconsistent to just win games, and it was everybody. It wasn't, there wasn't, two or three guys that kind of did it. Is like, it'd feel like some days we'd hit really well and we wouldn't pitch and vice versa. We had really good players, really good talent. I honestly think it was probably the most talented Vanderbilt team I've been on so far, but just,
oh, wow,
got to put it together to win games. And, we unfortunately didn't do so.
Now I know, and this is my last thing. Now I know that Vanderbilt is a little bit different private school, but the 35 guys on the roster used to, they had to split all these, when you went to these public universities, they had to split all these scholarships. What is that 35 roster doing to college baseball right now? What's different about it?
There's a lot more scholarships, which I think helps out everybody. I think not having to pay anything for school for the most part for everybody is pretty good for the game, as well as with the NIL also, that it kind of helps out as well. Although I'm not too big of a fan of NIL myself. I think it's kind of ruining the college aspect of college sports. But I'd say, I mean, it does. The scholarships definitely I think helps out everybody.
Alex, expand on the NIL part.
I mean, from my understanding of why NIL was created, I'd say originally I thought it was for the guys like a Johnny Manziel, et cetera, who are pretty much, big names in college. They're doing all these, commercial deals, jersey sales, all this stuff. And, you want them to be able to make money because they're being used in all this advertisement, which I think is, completely fair, completely fine. I think when it gets to a point where it's like, essentially a contract, you're paying guys for play, and guys are leaving really good schools that they're playing really well at, getting a ton of playing time and setting themselves up for, and they pretty much leave for money. I think it kind of just hurts the whole development of college players and college teams. I mean, the roster turnover on every team in college baseball is just getting ridiculous at this point, at least in my opinion.
Because I know when I was in college, I would have been happy with $2,000 a month, and I'm sure a lot of other people would feel the same way, because for a college kid who's, may not be a Johnny Manziel or whoever, I mean, you can still live off of that just fine, and especially if you have a scholarship as well on top of that.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt. I mean, there's definitely benefits to it. I just think a lot of people, use it the wrong way, I guess.
So I want to get back into the sports memorabilia collection that you have. What is the craziest thing you've ever done for an autograph?
I don't know. I mean, back when I was younger, since I was so close to New York City, and all the red lights and stuff, I used to follow cars on foot every once in a while. So I was at probably 50th in Madison, New York City, going for the Mariners. I needed Felix Hernandez to sign a All-Star game ball because I was doing the whole All-Star team on a set, and I ran with this car on foot all the way from there to the FDR Drive, and he finally rolled down his window there and said, "You're out of your mind," and signed it. So I'd say like some of the stuff like that was probably sort of the crazier stuff that I wouldn't do anymore. But
King Felix.
Man, okay, so this is probably an impossible question, but your Mount Rushmore of signings that you have so far, what would that be?
So Jordan's on there for sure.
Has to be.
I'd say Ohtani is right there with him. He's always been tough to get, so getting him was good. And then probably LeBron and Kobe probably fill that out. I'd say, at least for me.
Wow.
So if you had to pick another, I don't know, the next 3 athletes that you're trying to get, who are you eyeing down? Is it just whoever's in the area?
No. It's well, I mean, there is a component to that. Like if I knew something was easy and there was a guy I wanted, I'd go for him. But say top 3 right now, no question, is Nate Archibald's 1. Tom Brady is 2. And then my 3rd would probably be either Wemby or Anthony Edwards.
Oh, wow. Good stuff.
I no longer say you can't get it done. Alex?
No, you better not.
No, let's stay in touch. I'm rooting for you, and continued good work.
I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Good luck, brother.
Former Vanderbilt baseball pitcher Alex Kranzler joining us on the show. So
that's impressive stuff.
Kelly, here's what was kind of funny in the whole deal. There was no way he could know when he got involved with me that, okay, he's going to get somebody, various players do various internships all over the city.
Yeah.
And some are probably more fun than others. But I don't know that he could have ever dreamed that he'd have somebody who would yap baseball with him the way I did. And, from time to time, we'd go out to a Sounds game and he'd sit there and tell me, here's what this pitcher's trying to do. Gosh, who was the lefty that we went out and saw? I want to say Imanaga may have been one we went and saw with the Iowa Cubs. But anyway, it was fun. It was fun for both of us. I learned quite a bit from him, but he also learned a lot about what goes on in this business, and he's one I really enjoyed.
Yeah, that's some of the things that he just talked about is pretty impressive. Getting those autographs, man, that's kind of crazy.
Listen, some of the stuff I have told him about what he can't do, and then he shoves it down my throat and sends it to me. The Khalil Mack one was
good for him.
When he went to Memphis and got Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, I'm like, what the hell are you doing? But you know what? He's really into that. And
that is crap. I've just never been into anything like that.
If I put a number on what his collection is worth, it would blow your mind. Anyway.
I can't even imagine.
Anyway, I'm sure some of you, when you hear the names, it's not like he went after George and Kelly and Parker. You start
top
going
75, the 75 NBA guys. Good gracious.
When he first told me that, I was like, you got to be kidding me. But it's true. Anyway, we're going to open up the phone lines, and I am looking for 4 red-blooded Americans who have something on their mind that they want to yap about. It's that simple. No necessary topic. You pick the topic that's on your mind. Let's yap about it. At 615-759-9949. One more time, 615-759-9949. We will take your phone calls next on the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com. You've heard me talk about the putting zone. Well, guess what? It's now open. and it offers a revolutionary indoor golf experience featuring state-of-the-art putting surfaces designed to replicate real-world course conditions. It allows players of all skill levels to practice, compete in tournaments, and connect year-round. Go by and see them at 3040 Sidco Drive and tell them Plaz sent you. Are you looking for expert medical care in Nashville without leaving your home? Medical House Calls brings concierge-level health care directly to your door. Whether you need urgent attention, ongoing primary care, revitalizing IV therapy, or medically guided weight loss, our experienced providers are just a phone call away at 615-838-2375 or go online, medicalhousecalls.com. It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun. Bowling Night.
ESPN Radio lives here. Your sports live here on ESPN 94.9 The Fan.
Okay, loaded lines on this Monday afternoon. As soon as the line comes open, we will let you know it. Eventually, we're going to want to hear from old Tyrone, the Spurs fan. Right, Kelly?
Well, I just know go against him now with whatever he says to bet, that who is the favorite is going to win. I'm going opposite.
Wow. Not much confidence. Tony in Nolensville, get us started.
Good afternoon, guys. Always good talking to the panel and to the three heroes of sports talk radio. Kelly, I know you love that. So,
thank you, Tony.
Guys, that listening to Kranzler right there, George, reminded me of my days of growing up and being a little older. I've got three autographs that really I've always cherished. Number one, when I was playing Little League, what was used to be called junior pro football, I got Claude Humphrey's autograph.
Oh, wow.
Issue, and I got his. And then later on, I was in Florida, getting ready to leave a hotel, Sandestin Hilton down in Destin, and in walked John Stallworth, the Hall of Fame wide receiver of the Steelers, as we were leaving, checking out, and I was able to get his autograph. Real nice, no problem with it at all. And the third one was running into Sandberg after he had been named into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
George, I was in Atlanta to watch the Braves and Cubs, and we're walking on the backside of, at that time, Turner Field. And as we come up one way, here come Sandberg and his family. And talked to him about 5 or 6 minutes. Nobody else on the sidewalk nowhere but me and a friend of mine. And I've cherished those three always. So that was good stuff. So I really enjoyed that.
That's cool.
I don't know if you saw this, and y'all might have talked about it last week. I just heard about it over the weekend. But last week, Charles Huff at Memphis University has hired Brian Kelly, Jimbo Fisher, and Charlie Strong as consultants to the Memphis University football program. Now, of course, Jimbo Fisher and Brian Kelly's got a nice little payout. They're supposed to be seeking out employment, but that'll never happen. Not with the millions that they got from their buyouts from LSU and Texas A&M. But I thought that was rather interesting that Memphis University and Charles Huff has consulted them, brought them in as consultants towards the Memphis Tigers program in order to move Memphis into a Power 4 conference. Did y'all see that?
Well, this is Tony, this is a battle they've been fighting, gosh, since I was down there. When I was there, we were Metro Conference. Metro was Memphis State, Louisville, Cincinnati, South Carolina, Virginia Tech, Southern Miss. Who am I leaving out? It's a pretty strong basketball league.
Conference.
They've tried everything under the sun. And what really gets them is when Louisville makes an advancement and they don't. There is a big, pissy, whatever you want to call it, between what I used to call Memphis State and Louisville. And, they've tried, using Fred Smith money to buy their way into the Big 12. It didn't happen. Kelly, it's just a very frustrating thing for them that they've not been able to advance to where they want to go.
Yeah, and I remember when that happened, George, you talk about Fred Smith and trying to get into the Big 12, and we talked about that on the show, but like when somebody doesn't want you, man, that's a tough deal, and they've been trying to do that forever. So I don't know, Tony. I guess they're trying to get the right people. I don't know if that's the right people, but they're trying to get people in their corner to get them there.
Right. And George, Kelly, I don't think you saw George's guest from Texas Tech Friday. But George, to me, he really come across that I think he is the face and picture of all the Texas Tech fans. I think they want to turn their head to all of it and say, you know what, everything else is going on in college football today. We're going to let him play. We know he did what he did, but what's wrong with him being our quarterback? It seemed like they really don't want to accept the fact of how bad this situation really is. And that to me, it just come across that they really are just kind of wanting to sweep it under the rug. And as indicative of today of what the Big 12 has decided to do, as we talked about last week, somebody needs to step in and intervene and stop them from letting this guy play and be a part of the program. They ought to just tell him, if he plays, y'all going to play the games? All right, fine. We're not going to let you contend for the Big 12 title. I think something is going to happen with that. Last week I said he would play because of the way circumstances are. With this right now, with what the Big 12 and the administrative offices are doing, I think this might put a little curtail on it. I'll let y'all talk about it. Great show as always, and talk to y'all later, guys. See ya.
Tony, thank you. Guys, I'm sticking to mine. I don't think he's playing.
Man, I think it's 50-50, George. I think he could go either way. You're kind of strong on that. Parker's strong on his. I think I'm 50-50 on it because what happens now does not shock me. I would not be shocked if he doesn't play. I would not be shocked if he does play. So I think it's kind of up in the air right now. But I really think, and I've said this over and over on the show, I think that they're getting so much heat. I think they're going to have to do something. And I'm kind of leaning a little bit, but I'm still 50-50 on it.
And one thing's for sure, he's got one of the best lawyers in the country in his corner.
And he's not paying for him. But it'd be interesting to know who is. Jeff in Murfreesboro, you're up next.
George, I was going to say, did West Virginia sing their song after they won the first game?
I don't guess they did.
Well, I didn't know.
No, they did.
Oh, did they?
They did, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Should we play the video for Kelly? I think he wants it.
I think he does too.
I didn't know. Well, Kelly can't hear me anyway, like as usual. But I just want to say, I was going to wait and do this later, but I know next month is media days, and I know y'all going to be down there and the 4-day carnival and circus is down there. It's been the SEC media days. It's been the 41st year they've had it. It started in 1985. George, if you had to guess, how many times would you guess that Vanderbilt has gone on the first day of media days, if you had to guess?
I'm going to guess twice. I have no idea. If you know the answer.
You're almost there. 3.
3? Okay.
Okay, do you know how many times Kentucky's win?
I'm going to say the same number, 3.
Oh, no. It's 0 until this year. 0 until this year. They're going to be the first down. They're going to be up there. They're going to be the first day. So if that's not disrespecting a university, a football program, an athletic department, and not to wait till 41 years to put them on the first day, pretty doggone bad, in my opinion. I don't know what most Kentucky fans think. I don't know if they even know it. I told somebody in the athletic department, he couldn't believe me. I told him to tell what's his face, the head big man about it, but I don't know if anybody's going to do anything about it when they get to media days. I hope some Mexican media will pop off and ask thank you why he's way down. Well, you know why I say he got the job, though, because the other guy passed away. That's why he got the job and everything. But and another thing, George, I was noticing some basketball stuff. I noticed some of the SEC and the ACC challenges were out, and some of they got some pretty good games. Duke and Ford is the best one of the bunch as far as the men's side goes. And Middle Tennessee has already announced 2 of theirs. They're going to play an Allen Fieldhouse against Kansas. And here a few weeks ago, they announced in December sometime they're going to play down there in Huntsville at Probst Arena against Auburn. I forget December. I forget when's the middle of December. I forget what the date is, but that's 2 of their non-conference games anyway, hoops-wise. But no, I just think it's disrespect. And, I know we ain't got no coaching or anything, so we're going to see what we can do next year. He's done a pretty good job on the recruiting sales so far from what I understand Will Stein is. So, we'll see what happens. Barnhart's retiring here at the end of the month, one of the best ever. They got a new one. They say from Michigan. They say I don't know nothing about him, but we're going to see what we can do. And we'll see, Kelly, if we can get a coach that coaches up there in Kentucky. I know we ain't got none. So y'all hang in there, guys. See y'all.
Brock in Nashville, you're up next.
Hey, guys. How are y'all doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing fantastic. I really enjoyed the Terry McCormick interview about the Tennessee Titans. And what really sparked my interest was just hearing the struggles behind Cam Ward. And like Kelly was saying, this could be due to an injury recovery, but it made me realize how often or how many times do we see the Titans continue to fail on drafting a QB? And when was the last time we've seen a successful draft QB-wise from the Tennessee Titans? I mean, I feel like the last time we've seen one was Steve McNair. I mean, then they drafted.
Well, that pretty much is. I mean, this is. Yeah. I mean, it's not up for a lot of debate. It is.
Exactly, and then I mean, Vince Young had promise. I mean, was he Rookie of the Year?
Yeah, it was very promising early, and then just went kaput or kapoof or whatever.
I mean, exactly. And then I don't even remember who was after that, but I remember Jake Locker. I remember Marcus Mariota, who was a Heisman. Will Levis. I mean, not much from him, but Cam Ward, it really has, I believe, has so much on his shoulders for what he's bringing to a new team, especially with the new OC, new head coach. I mean, we can definitely see a lack of effectiveness because of that, because of the new offense. But if Cam Ward doesn't nail this, I mean, it's really a detrimental problem for any Tennessee Titans fan out there who cheers for them, especially me. It's really detrimental for a fan to have to go through another relapse of a fault quarterback or a failing quarterback to see them go and draft a new one. I mean, Cam Ward does have a promising future, but because of these OTAs and him not looking successful, I mean, some of the passes he made in the regular season last year to Calvin Ridley were dimes. I mean, there was a lot of dimes. There was a lot of promises that we saw from him. But if we see a lack of that right now, I mean, it's we don't know what's happening. We don't know what's going to be going on in the future. We don't know what the season looks like. But I mean, it doesn't excite me to know that Cam Ward could be our future QB, our future franchise QB, if we're not seeing a development or an establishment from him right now.
Okay, let's talk about it. Thank you for the call. Kelly, at this moment, what is your level of confidence in him?
Oh, man, I did have a lot of confidence in him, but after what Terry's telling me and some of the inconsistencies, I'm starting to wonder if the injury is hindering him, and I'm not sure right now, George. I know this: Playing quarterback in the NFL is tough, and I've said it before. If you miss on the quarterback, you set your franchise back 3 to 4 to 5 years, and that's what's been happening to the Tennessee Titans. That's why they can't get over the hump. Now, I will say this. You look at it, it takes time to learn the game in the NFL. It does, but nobody nowadays is willing to give young guys the time to do that. They're just not.
Brock, I'll tell you from what I've seen, the short to intermediate stuff, I mean, he's hitting those on a consistent basis. There have been a couple times where there's a wide open receiver and just throws it at his feet. Some of the deep stuff, though, I mean, he's basically been missing all throughout OTAs, and that part is concerning. But I will say it is June. Don't put too much stock in it. We'll know a lot more once training camp gets here in July and the pads start coming on. And again, it's like I said earlier, we have no idea if Daboll's tweaking his motion or messing with his feet behind the scenes, or if he's still recovering from that shoulder.
We'll go to the break. I've got 4 of you on the line. Brad, Eric,
Frank, and
Clay. All of you hang with me. We'll go to the break, and we'll be back on the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
Are you tired of living with back pain? What would you do if the pain was gone?
At the Dr. Gill Center, we've helped thousands of people over the last 30 years break free from pain and get back to living life. We're committed to your outcomes, and our caring team listens, understands, and offers real solutions to neuropathy, back pain, and joint pain without unnecessary surgery or medication. Choose the clinic that listens. Choose the clinic that cares. Call the Dr. Gill Center today at 615-882-4838.
Let's make your pain-free life a reality.
Baseball is just like music. You don't believe me? Let me show you. It's jazz, improvised and unpredictable. It's rock. The crowd explodes like a guitar through a wall of amps. It's rap, fast, sharp, all rhythm and timing. It's country, nothing but 3 outs and the truth. Do you believe me now? Look, no matter what music you're into, the hottest track in town, Nashville Sounds Baseball. Welcome to Hit City.
Sports and Social in Green Hills Mall is the new home for our Football Night in Nashville promotion. Their food is terrific. Their TV setup looks like a racing sports book in Vegas. And if you're a sports fan, you can't beat it. Starting September the 4th, we'll broadcast from Sports and Social every Thursday night. There's Pop-A-Shot, great football, and the chance to win a beautiful Mikey's Motors golf cart. See you at Sports and Social in Green Hills Mall.
Clarksville, get ready. Because when the doors open at F&M Bank Arena, the noise rises. At the Nashville Cats, the walls shake, and the Cats take control. Fast plays, big hits, non-stop arena football. Get in the den. Get your season tickets now.
It's the George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Okay, we're going to get into a little bit of a lightning round to close the show up. Brad and Brentwood, give me a couple of minutes if you can.
I'll try. How you doing, George?
Good.
Good. I really enjoyed your interview earlier today, just about the Titans and stuff, and Cam Ward. And to kind of piggyback, off of the last question, I was wondering, with Cam Ward and all the mental struggles he has to go through with trying to flip around the team and also just changing up mechanics and a bunch of coaching changes, how long should us as fans wait if he does not do great this year until we call him a bust?
Okay, that's a really good question. Let's see if we've got really good answers. I'll let you hear this off air. So,
All right.
Kelly, you're the one that's saying, nobody has any patience. What is the right amount of time?
Oh man, that's another really good question. I think as a coach, you have to have experience and you have to be around guys that have been through it. But everybody, this is such an instant coffee generation. We just like if somebody doesn't do good right away, we want to throw him to the wolves. And Steve McNair didn't come in, and Steve McNair is considered the greatest quarterback in Titans history. But like, he didn't come in and start right off the bat. They had another guy in front of him, and he got to learn. Most guys back in the day came in and they weren't pressured to start. But now with the money in the National Football League, when you're the first pick of the draft and you're a quarterback or you're a quarterback picked in the top round, and the money presents itself that you got to start, you got to learn. And sometimes guys can't handle that. You look at Ryan Leaf. Ryan Leaf was a really good college player, but he was the second pick of the draft, and the pressure was too much for him. It got to him. He couldn't handle it. Everybody's seen when he was in the locker room, and Junior Seau had to calm him down. Like, guys don't understand the pressures of that whole deal. So I just wish we would have a little bit more patience. Coaches need to know that. You need to see things through your experience. I think Cam Ward I think he's a really good football player. Can he be great? I don't know. We'll just have to see. He's got to get better, obviously, but we've got to have some guys around him. And I think Mike Borgonzi got some guys to get around him this year. Now, offensive line-wise, they've got to get better. But, there's a lot hinging on him this year. That's just the facts of the matter.
Eric, you're up next. Give me a couple of minutes if you can.
Hey, George, I was calling in to talk about the NBA Finals. First of all, congratulations to the Knicks for winning it all. The fact they broke that 50-year drought. But a couple of things I'm going to say, George, and I'm going to get into some criticisms from both teams. First of all, Wemby not shaking hands, going off the court, I hated to see that because I think Brunson went up there and tried to shake his hand and kind of blew him off. And I believe he also did that in the Cup game, and he did the same thing. And I've heard that at times it comes across arrogance. The flagrant foul he did on Brunson, which was bad, as well as the fact that, antics on the court, stuff like that, and talking to them when they were up 29. Of course, they blew the lead. And I'm hoping the guys like Greg Popovich, Tim Duncan, or Dave Robson gets a hold of him and tries where he gets his act together on stuff like that. But now to the Knicks, George. I'm happy for the players, happy for the coach, James Dolan, and whatever you think of him, you got to give him credit for winning it all. But the fact that the fans acted the way he did, you saw a lot of these videos, it was totally disgusting. After Game 3, where you saw a fan with a San Antonio jersey got his jersey ripped off, another fan that they tried to get his jersey and stuff, but luckily he managed to get away. After Game 4, they followed the team bus back to the hotel after they blew that 29-point lead, throwing eggs and rocks and bricks or whatever it went in. He got hit in the head with an egg. Heard reports of police cars getting turned over. A bus was set on fire. A kid got shot, teenage kid, 17-year-old, I believe, got shot in the foot. Another kid, 13, 14 years old, got a firework, hit him in the leg. Somebody else got stabbed. Windows got busted out. People climbed up for that post. Just acted all sorts of idiots. And that's the unfortunate shame of stuff like that, George, where it feels like fans of teams, when they win on, feel like they got to act like idiots. And you've heard stories pass on in New York, but in Philadelphia, Chicago, and Detroit, where people were looting, doing all this stuff. And the sad also commentary, George, I want to say, San Antonio, it feels like, and I'm sad to say, well, San Antonio fans were very respectful to the New York fans. It's like, why do you have to make a statement like that? You shouldn't have to make a statement like that. You should be respectful, period. And the fact that we have these fans of teams feel like they're entitled to just act like jerks and idiots and do stuff like that, it makes it hard to root for them, George. And one last thing, and I'll get off. One of the things I also heard about the fact that Charles Oakley was there, but it's still like he wasn't made to feel welcome because he still has that rift with James Dolan. That's a shame that Oakley wasn't made to feel welcome. I'm hoping they get that rift sorted out. George, I'll get off and let you get to other callers. Y'all take care, and we'll talk to you soon.
Man, Oakley and Dolan is a long-standing one.
Mm-hmm.
That's a shame.
There is. There's some nastiness to that.
Ooh. And the fan behavior, it's ridiculous.
I agree. It's ridiculous. But everybody does it now. It's like if something happens good, we're going to burn the city down. I don't understand it.
I don't either. Frank and Smyrna, got a couple of minutes. Do your best.
Okay, I'll give it my best shot at it. Okay, first of all, shout out to the Carolina Hurricanes, our next door neighbors over there across the big hills of East Tennessee.
Yeah.
As a lifelong Predators fan from day one, I cannot stand the Las Vegas Golden Knights. I don't like any of those guys. The fact that Jeremy Lauzon got traded to them made me sick. Just Vegas, you didn't pay your dues. They've never paid their dues as far as I'm concerned. I can't freaking stand them. Good for them for having to watch Carolina celebrate. And from what I understand from some friends in the Raleigh area, Raleigh and North Carolina State University are still standing today. They did not burn Raleigh down last night, or everything seems to be okay. And you know, they were like, "No, we're not New York fans. We're civil here," is what they told me. So good for all them. Now, George, we're going to talk about our beloved Atlanta Braves.
The good news is not for long.
Well, the good news is Drake Baldwin reinstated from the injured list today. That's the good news. And Lord knows we need him. The bad news, Spencer Strider, out probably 2 months, possibly longer.
Yeah, and, you know,
we got
I guess
problems.
like you, and so this has increased the Braves are in on Tarek Skubal, and deep down, I'm not sure I want them to be, because I think they're going to have to give up a lot for a guy that they can't guarantee they're going to sign long term. Strider's deal to me is serious. I think the performance in Los Angeles that night when he was the old Strider, that may be the last time we ever see that Spencer Strider, and that's really a shame.
I said the same thing today, George, to another friend of mine in Atlanta. I said, I don't know that we're ever going to see the version of him we saw 2-3 years ago. I think he's going to be another one that we unfortunately remember for spending more of his time on the disabled list than on the mound. And it's really too bad, because he's a good guy. I've met him.
And I worry.
He's a really good guy.
I worry about the kid in Milwaukee, the former Sound, Jason Mizorowski, who's killing it. But when you're throwing 104 miles an hour 50 times a game, something's going to give. And I hate that. I also hate that I got to run, but I do.
Yeah, I'll call back and we can talk some more, because I have some thoughts after talking to former major league pitchers about where today's pitching is. So anyway, I'll call back. That's another story for another day. Thanks,
okay, look forward to it. Let's close out in style.
A lot of red last week.
Yeah, not good. So we're 20 over 500, sort of going downhill a little bit. So tonight, we stopped the bad mojo. We're taking the Arizona Diamondbacks at home against the Los Angeles Angels. Tomorrow,
the Angles or the Angels?
Angels.
It says Angles, but no problem.
Angles.
Yes, it does.
The LA Angles,
yeah,
baby.
It does. Okay. Tony Basilio tomorrow joining us from Knoxville. I'm sure there'll be some new news on Brendan Sorsby. See you then.
Now, here's your latest Fox 17 Code Red weather report.
I'm Fox 17 Chief Meteorologist Katie Morgan. A very comfortable night ahead with temperatures dropping to about 60 for early Tuesday morning. The air will stay dry, sunny for the afternoon, just a bit warmer with highs in the mid-80s.
Your sports live here on the Game Nashville Sports Network.
With no credit check and payments as low as $20 a week, why wait to upgrade your home? At Electronic Express,